All right, y'all, welcome back and happy Wednesday. Today, of course, we're going to be breaking down the huge news that Tennessee made the switch from Nike to Adidas. It will start in 2026. The contract details won't be coming out just because I think this is going to be huge for our Tennessee Volunteers. We don't want other programs trying to mimic what we did, but we will be just going through and speculating on what we think that this might look like and why it's going to be so big for Tennessee. And also after that, we're going to be talking about why the next couple of days of fall camp is going to be big for 2025, maybe even 2026, and possibly 2027. Y'all please make sure to like and subscribe to the channel. What we're looking at currently are the biggest contracts up to this point with the three stripes and other college programs. Now, we don't know about the private schools. This is just, public information. But Texas A&M, 5 years, $47 million, $10.4 million per year. Louisville, 10 years, $160 million, $16 million per year. And Kansas, 14 years, $196 million, $14 million per year. Now, the most recent one, obviously, is going to be A&M. So that was in 2022, only 5 years. Now, I wanted for the contract to be maybe a little bit shorter than what it actually is. So it is going to be a 10-year contract for our Tennessee Volunteers. But it sounds like they're pretty much making us the flagship. So if $16 million per year is the biggest at, 10 years, $16 million, you got to think that, 10 years, $160 million, excuse me. You got to think that Tennessee's is probably somewhere around 10 years, $200 million. And I actually saw this tweet earlier today from Alan Bell, who does have some, good inside information. I don't know how accurate this is. Okay, this is just speculation. But he said that Tennessee is going to be getting roughly $20 million per year. So that's huge. And why is it huge? Because of this, right? This was my dream contract. Okay, 7 years, $200 million, $28.5 million per year. But the kicker is $10 to $20 million per year dedicated to our NIL. The NIL part of it, some sort of NIL, is going to be dedicated in this contract. That is gigantic because Tennessee had, I think, like one of the best, NILs maybe in the whole country. Spire Sports does a great job. We have big time donors, big time boosters, all of that. But this new order was just signed that is saying that they can't really allocate too many funds to these players. It's probably going to be anywhere from like $3,000 to $10,000 up to $10,000 per player per year. That's really just not going to move the needle for these big time players like the 4 stars, 5 stars, so on and so forth. You need really like 6 figures to be able to go to those players' pockets if you want to win on some of these bidding wars. Now that Tennessee will have a lot more NIL money allocated that's coming from a big time company, that NIL Go, they can't shoot these contracts down. Now that that's happening, y'all, listen, like, let's just say if the deal is going to be like $20 million per year, I would say that, somewhere around $15 million is going to be going straight to our players' pockets. We don't need that much going to the actual school. And the reason that I say that is just because if you look at revenue sharing, Tennessee made like $234 million last year. We can only share up to $20.5 million per year with our student athletes. So that's not even 10% of that money. We still have plenty of money that the school can use to keep things running and functioning and all of that. I'm sure that Danny White has probably drawn up, man, look, about 80 to 85% of this money we want going straight to the players, if not more than that. So, like, let's just say if it is $15 million worth of NIL, that the NIL Go, that the college sports mafia can't stop us from getting to our players. Let's just say that, about 10 million of those funds go straight to our football team. That could be 10 more 5 stars per year, y'all. That's huge. Okay, so I feel like Tennessee's football team, basketball team, every single sports team will be able to bring in more talent and everything. School, man, I feel like we'll start, winning more championships. Baseball, they've done it. It's time for both of our basketball programs, softball program, everything, but definitely our football team to start winning championships by going out and getting more talent. So with that being said, y'all, these are just some of the players that we know of that do have contracts with the 3 stripes that are currently playing college sports. So this is just with the big 4 sports. There's several more players across every single sport. That's something else that was pointed out in one of the articles that I read is that, man, they're going to be allocating funds to all 20 of the sports at Tennessee. So we should, again, really be the everything school where we can really start to win championships in more sports. I think that this is a huge deal. Great job by Danny White, by whoever else was part of this, in making sure that Tennessee is forward thinking and that we can, get that bag for all of our players. But with that being said, y'all, let's go on ahead and flip the page to fall camp and some of my thoughts on why the next couple of days is going to be huge for our Tennessee Volunteers in 2025 and then also probably like moving forward. But we're right now on like at the end of the third week that you're looking at here, okay, where we're looking for our starters. I think the Tennessee probably has our starters everywhere except for quarterback. That's the first thing that I want to talk about. Tennessee has got to have a guy just take the lead and take over that job. And the reason that I'm saying that is because Coach Heupel said that it's going to be an open competition between all three scholarship players. What it feels like is it's actually just a competition between Joey and Jake because GMAC has looked the best. We've heard that from several different outlets. Everyone's coming out with that publicly now. He's looked the best up to this point in fall camp. Now, Merck's been here longer than anybody else. You would think that he should look good. Okay, I think he's still part of this competition, but he's pretty much been third over the course of fall camp. So that's not a great sign. Joey Aguilar still kind of being new. Maybe that light kind of turns on for him and everything clicks and he comes out these next couple of days and he looks like a freaking world beater. But the reason that I'm saying, hey, one of those two guys really needs to take over is because the team is seeing this competition. They see the quarterbacks that look the best in any practice, in any situation. They're watching how they're doing everything. They're watching them. That's supposed to be the leaders of this team. Coach Heupel more than likely is going to end up naming Joey Aguilar as our starter either way. I don't think that he's earned it up to this point, not based off of what we've been hearing. So if that's the case, how would they feel if he's just named the starter and he hasn't earned it? I think that they would have an issue with it because he's not going to be perfect. Nobody that's starting anything or that plays period is ever going to be perfect. Nobody's perfect. So if he does mess up or when he does mess up, how does the team feel, especially if it's a situation where the defense feels like, man, we got to, build this team out. If that keeps on happening, I could very easily see them maybe starting to call for someone else to be that starter. So to make things as simple and as smooth as possible, Joey Aguilar's got to be the one that steps up and just wins this competition. Now, that would be, like the first situation, probably best case of all the different situations. But the second one would be if maybe Mark steps up for these next couple of days, especially in our final scrimmage that's coming up on Friday, and he looks great because then we could have like a real true quarterback competition between those two over, I guess, like this next week that's coming up. And really, that's more of like a mock game week. We should be getting ready for Syracuse. Going to be tough to do that if we don't know who the quarterback is going to be. So, that would be a pretty good situation. Actually, that might be like the third best situation, honestly speaking, because we just need to find a guy. Now, if Mark goes out there, he balls out, Joey just looks like he has been kind of like average, you know what I'm saying? Then maybe Mark can be named that starter and all the speculation and all the controversy that ends. I think that would be good. Somebody just needs to win that job. But the problem is, if GMAC keeps on playing well and the other two don't, he's not going to be named the starter more than likely for week one. So that's where we could have some pretty big issues at. Now, if he continues to ball out and the other quarterbacks aren't looking great for maybe like the first couple of weeks into the season, I could very easily see George start to get some more first team reps. And I think that in all fairness, for these next couple of days, he needs to get more first team reps because he's looked the best. It sounds like he hasn't gotten very many, if any of those. He's got to get some. I think just in all fairness, for the team's sake, you got to show, man, look, what we said about this being an open competition, we really meant that. So he's going to get a good look, and then we'll see how things kind of shape up from that standpoint. But I think that as it sits currently, like if the game was on this upcoming Saturday, Joey Aguilar is going to be Tennessee's starter. And what a lot of the insiders have said is that Merck would probably be the backup. But I think that GMAC is really pushing. I think that if he was bigger, if he was maybe like 10 pounds heavier, he would probably be the guy. And I think that they're going to wait and see how much weight can he gain between now and maybe like week 2 or 3 of this season. But I just think that that's going to be the most critical thing for this team. And I talked about 2025, right? But also looking at 2026, we already know that if Merck isn't that guy, okay, if he actually ends up being maybe like third string and GMAC passes him up, then Merck is going to be gone. And if GMAC looks good throughout this entire quarterback competition and he doesn't really get a shot to actually start at any point throughout this season, he might be gone. Merck might stay. Maybe he leaves. Maybe they both want to leave. But how does that impact Faison Brandon if GMAC does start and he looks really good? Does he still want to come here in a quarterback competition where he knows, man, look, I got 2 more years worth of waiting before I'm really going to get my opportunity? Or would it be better if maybe Mark wins it out and then GMAC leaves? And then, Faison says, okay, I just have to wait for one more season and maybe I can be the guy 1 to 2 more years, right? There's just so many different moving pieces to it. But also you could say, how does Faison look at things if, maybe he hears that George has looked great over the course of fall camp and he's not going to get the start because the older guys get to play first. He might say, well, why would I come here in a quarterback competition with all these young bucks that I know that I'm not going to be able to win, maybe, just because I'm younger than everyone else. He might look at that too. And if Faison doesn't come, I can almost tell you, like with about 95% certainty that Tristan Keys ain't coming, so it could have a really, really big impact. And also, that could impact who else wants to come, who else wants to leave. If Faison's not here, do some of our wide receivers maybe want to tap out? Do some of the players maybe want to leave out of the transfer portal to, other players in other spots? There's just a million different things that could happen. And Coach Heupel's going to have to just, choose very, very wisely. But that's why it's going to be huge, first and foremost, if one of these quarterbacks just takes over and wins this competition just straight up, that's going to make it easier on everybody and on this team. So I'm hoping that, we get things figured out and then we go out here and then we ball over, really just, throughout this entire season. But outside of that, I think that Tennessee's wide receivers, we got to get back healthy there. Chris Brazzell, he's been back for the past couple of practices. He should start to integrate himself more into practice where he's actually going full speed, catching the passes in routes on air, in one-on-ones, in team situations. The quarterbacks got to get comfortable with their starting guys out there. They haven't really seen that over the course of fall camp. Is that part of the reason that they haven't looked great? Yes, but at the same time, relatively speaking, you got to understand that they've been throwing to pretty much the same people, and GMAC has looked the absolute best. So let's keep that in mind as well. But yeah, him and then also Braylon Staley, I'm not faulting anybody for having any injuries because that's a very real thing. I don't wish that on anybody. It's tough to have to deal with. These players don't want to be hurt. They don't want to be missing time. They want to be out there with their brothers and fighting and getting better. But you got to take care of yourself kind of off the field first, just as far as getting back healthy so that you can play. I think that both of those guys should be ready by the first game. What does kind of bother me some, and I'm not, it doesn't bother me like I'm mad about it or nothing like that, but it's probably not the greatest thing, is that Braylon Staley, he pulled one of his hamstrings previously, and now the other one sounds like that one's been pulled. So having two hammies being pulled on you, that's tough. Someone's going to have to step up in a major way for this team. So as soon as he can get back, obviously, the sooner the better for this program, because he needs to get some reps, some real scrimmage types of reps or live types of reps in practice before our first game versus Syracuse, because he's more than likely going to have to be one of the starters in that slot. Now, we've got some other options with guys who can go in the slot, who can go outside. We've got some younger players, maybe a couple of walk-on guys that you feel kind of comfortable throwing out there. I don't know because I haven't seen them too much, but just kind of speculating. But I would say that Boo Carter, he's another one that I am anticipating and hoping and wishing and praying that starting on Thursday and then throughout Friday, that we let him integrate with this team more and play some on offense. We're too short-handed at wide receiver for him not to get those reps. He's either going to be part of this team or he's not. I know that he's got the off-the-field stuff that he's got to do, and people are mad at this, that, and, whatever. I mean, okay, if he's handling what he's supposed to handle, then we got to start to integrate him with this team, let him get some real scrimmage reps, and let him feel more confident and comfortable with his teammates so that he's locked into this season too. You don't want to be alienating people on this team. We need him on offense, defense, special teams. We got to get him some real reps playing on offense. The punishment stuff, it can't hurt the whole team. If you're going to hurt somebody, and not that I'm for that or not, doesn't matter. But I just believe that you don't need to be hurting the entire team. Just hurt one individual person that's messing things up if you have to do that. Don't punish everyone. Don't punish this fan base either, because we all want to win. I damn sure want to. And I do not want to lose to Georgia in that third game of the season. And I think that we need all hands on deck for that to be a possibility that we can win it. So those are my thoughts. That's really what I'm looking at over these next couple of days. It's going to be big, okay? Really, really big. Everyone else, let's just stay healthy, okay? Let's stay up, let's stay clean, let's stay fresh, let's keep on getting better. And I think that we can have a really, really good year, man, if just those few things get figured out over these next couple of days, or at least they're on track to start to get figured out heading into next week. But y'all, please make sure to like and subscribe to the channel, and we'll be talking to y'all later on. Thanks. Peace. Thanks for watching. And please make sure to like and subscribe to the channel, because that keeps us growing inside of the YouTube algorithm. And if you did like this video, here's another one that you might also enjoy. Thank you, thank you, thank you. We'll see you on the next one. Peace.